All right, Jesse here, Humble Fungus, full service mushroom farm and Mycology supply off in Colorado. This is another in a series of tutorials around mushroom fruiting blocks. So far I've covered the ingredients, how to side fruit these blocks that you get in the mail when you order them from us, and basic care. Now we're going to talk about top fruiting. So in my previous tutorial, I showed you that this mushroom block, if I cut a hole here, it will fruit this way. That's called top fruiting. If I cut a hole here like I did, and I let it sit like this, that's called side fruiting, right? Now, different species of mushrooms or fungi will not fruit to the side. In other words, a king oyster may grow out of the side of the bag if you fruit it like that, but it's not going to love it. It's going to be really small. It's not going to be a fan. So that brings us to our top fruiting species. So I'm not going to cut the bag like the side. I'm going to do something different. What's an example of a top fruiting block? This is a king oyster block. It's been in the tent about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Here you can see the top of the block is completely exposed, and I'll explain that. And the mushrooms have fruited out of the top, and now I'm just going to harvest them. So that's top fruiting versus this pink oyster, which is side fruited. So this top fruited block is ready for harvest, and I'll do a harvest video after this. So that's what top fruiting is. But how do you get a good pinset, prevent contamination, drying out and things like that when you're trying to top fruit? Here, I've grabbed a Pio Pino block. Pio Pinos will actually side fruit or they top fruit. They look amazing top fruit. They look beautiful. So what am I gonna do? I've got a couple of options. I got this block in the mail, rolled up, it's a top fruiter. I can unroll it and leave it. And in a couple of weeks, I'd probably see baby mushrooms, and I could cut off the top of the bag, move on with my life. That's not very efficient, and you're not going to get a large pinset or a large flush. What am I going to do instead? Well, I got this block in the mail. Looks pretty great. Fully colonized, solid as a brick. It's a top fruiter. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a rubber band. Rubber band. Why? What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the top of the block about 2 inches down. Let's say about here. This is what I'm going to do. Everything above this line, I'm going to simulate a forest floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it down on that line, make sure it's nice and snug. What have I done? What this does is everything below this rubber band is a high CO2 compressed environment. It's not going to allow for pins to grow. It's going to keep the microclimate here basically in colonization. It's going to leave the fungus below here alone, right? This isn't going to fruit. What's going to happen is that it's going to push its pins up, right? Because this is where the oxygen will be. So now I've stood it up, put that rubber band, I basically creating a vacuum down here where pins won't grow. And now I have to figure out how to get oxygen in here. That's easy. The next thing you do at home, cut the corner off the bag. Make sure you actually open it up a little bit, and you're done. Now, what do I mean? You're going to take this and you're going to put it in diffuse light for a couple of weeks, just like you would any other block. But you're going to watch, in a couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing these baby mushrooms. They kind of look like this thing I just pulled off the king block. And these are going to be all over the surface, right? And that means that the block is ready for the next stage. What's the next stage? after you see the pins, you cut off the top of the bag, just like I did with the skein block, and you just pull it down. That's it. And you keep misting it as you would normally. Now, this actually helps retain moisture as well, doing it this way. And you can mist inside of the bag in case you see it dry. Done. And that's how you get really killer pin sets with top fruiting blocks. Now, the nice thing about doing it this way, the final method, is for the second or third flush, I pull this bag up, chip clip it shut to recreate this fruiting environment. So I can actually get 2 to 3 flushes out of a top fruiting block. So, try it out.